We're here in Forest City, Arkansas, better known as the Pearl of the Delta, where names like Al Green, Little Buddy Dole, and baseball player Don Kissinger all came from. But there's a name here we're wanting to tell the story of, and that's Beau Renfro.
Haven't heard of Beau Renfro, you say? Well, let us tell you his story.
My name is Lee Ducote. I'm an author and novelist.
And I'm Alicia, his better half.
And together we've traveled the back roads of this country in search for the perfect story.
During those travels, we've come across people who are not only changing history, but they're preserving a legacy.
So come join us as we share their stories with you
On Legacies with Lee and Alicia.
The year was 1944, and a preacher and his wife had just given birth to their first son after having 8 daughters.
Beau grew up like many other Arkansas boys, fishing, exploring the dirt roads that encompass the crops, and of course harassing his big sisters. Because come on, isn't that what little brothers are for?
Yes, they are. Being the only son of a farmer and preacher, Beau found many of his days filled with chores and helping out at the family farm. I mean, at the age of 10, he was already driving a tractor.
Growing up on an island in the Delta was a beautiful way to grow up, but it did have its setbacks, like having to meet the bus driver at the end of the bridge because he was too scared to drive over it.
Spending 20 minutes on a bus every morning and afternoon gave Beau time to think about a sound he had heard so many Sunday mornings on Linden Island.
That sound that Beau heard every Sunday morning wasn't the music that came from his father's church. It was the rhythm and twang that came from the strings of an old beat-up guitar from an African-American church that was just down the powder dirt road from his father's church. At a young age, Beau would often drift off to sleep during the church services, and his mother would lay him down in the back pews and cover him up. Unbeknownst to her, just as soon as she laid the young Beau Renfro down and returned to her pew, he would slip out through the open window and make his way to the window of the sound that captured his heart.
Many times the young Beau would peer into the window and an old man strumming the guitar would wave him in and sit him at his feet, clapping along with a vibrant congregation.
But it wasn't the man with the guitar nestled in his lap that stole Beau's attention. It was the man with an old splintered pair of drumsticks that inspired him the most. And before long, Beau began banging his way into country music.
But Beau wasn't always about country music. In high school, he was a catcher for the baseball team, catching heat from Don Kissinger, who would later become a 6-time All-Star champion with the Chicago Cubs.
That's cool.
That is cool.
Beau graduated from high school in 1961 and left Forest City to pursue an education in radio. After spending 4 years at Memphis State, he found himself back near his hometown of Forest City, DJing for KZOT in Marianna.
See you in 2 hours. That was Beau. You ready?
I'm ready.
Going to Heber Springs.
Let's go to Heber Springs.
To a western band with my blue jean queen, I'd waltz across Texas from the red.
Even though Beau spent hours spinning records at KZOT, he just couldn't get the passion of playing country music out of his heart. And before long, he found himself playing at honky-tonks throughout Arkansas. As a matter of fact, he was playing drums one night at the honky-tonk when a beautiful redhead strolled in and stole his heart.
Hang on. We better ask Beau about that redhead. Let's get our facts straight.
While listening to one of Beau's CDs, we pulled into Heber Springs and were welcomed with a stunning view of Greersbury Lake that was surrounded by the mountains colored with the seasons of fall.
Look at that mountain up there. I bet you can climb that. Oh, there's the dance hall.
I'm passing that. Hang on a minute. Hey! Hey, Beau. How y'all doing? Good, how are you? Good to see you. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you guys. No problem at all. Good. Okay, no guns or anything, right? Yeah, that's it. Beau, I'm Lee Cody.
Glad to meet you, sir.
Nice to meet you. Yeah.
Hey, Mr. Renfro, I'm Alicia.
Hi, it's Beau.
Oh, Beau.
Yeah,
Yes,
all
sir.
right.
I don't mean to interrupt you on this.
No, that's fine. We're just kind of working on a few songs that we're doing. Okay. You know, there's probably going to be a lot of noise coming out here in just a minute. We probably ought to walk outside.
Hey, that'd be great. Yeah. Let's go.
Yeah, come on.
As I explained on the phone, we tell stories of people that are leaving a legacy. And it's obvious that you're working hard to preserve traditional country music and traditional country dancing.
Right. You know, as I explained before, talked to you about it a little bit, people like George Jones, you know, Ernest Merle Haggard, Johnny Cash, those guys, they worked real hard for their music, and there was traditional country music.
Yes, sir.
And even the younger people realize what they've done. Nowadays, the new kind of music that's out there, you hear on the radio, it's not the same things it used to be. You used to be able to pick out the first note on a song, and you knew who did it. Whether it was George Jones or Johnny Cash, you know. I'm working hard, and I have all my life to preserve that good, clean, traditional country music. And I wrote a lot of songs that they looked at, and
yes, sir.
So, yeah, that's the thing that that's the reason why I wanted to keep traditional country music traditional, same as this place here.
Yes, sir. Tell me about this place here.
Well, the folklore is put together for volunteers only. You know, nobody gets paid anything. They have about 3 nights a week. They have dances here. It's traditional dance. You know, you can't do the fancy, dirty dancing in this place, but you can you can do the you know, anything else that you want to. It's traditional. So they're kind of like what I am. I want to keep the music together. They want to keep the dance together. That's right. Yeah, 2-step, different thing. Waltzes. They're big on things like that. You know.
I'm not much of a dancer. I got 2 left feet, so.
Yeah, I was going to ask you to dance, man. You know.
You need to all over your feet. So let's go. You know.
You want to lead?
Let's do it.
Y'all are playing tonight?
Yeah, we're playing tonight, and we expect y'all to come back.
All right, we'll be here.
We would love for you to be here.
We'll be here.
Walking into the folklore, we were met with a vast amount of people already on the dance floor, and a couple we didn't expect. Beau had alerted Betty and Earl, a legendary couple, that we were coming, and we no more made it through the door before they drug us off onto the dance floor.
What a sweet couple. And they were newlyweds, celebrating their 6th year of marriage.
But in her arms is where I want to be. Tequila sunrise beckons me. I hope and pray that it's not too late, and she'll be waiting by the garden gate.
Even at 93, when a cowboy asks for his woman back, give her back. Plus, I was ready to show Alicia my newly acquired dance skills.
Makes me stop and realize she's the first true.
Everyone enjoyed your new dancing skills, I assure you. Beau entertained the crowd throughout the night with the very music he is working on preserving.
We met down near that old border town where I went to just hang around. We fell in love with our first kiss, and I knew it was heaven sent. I'm longing for her sweet romance, so tonight I'm gonna take a chance. Texas moon shines down so bright, 2 silhouettes take their flight. I hope and pray that I'm not too late.
A true entertainer and southern gentleman, Beau was obviously home on the stage, laughing and probably having a better time than those on the dance floor.
Rio Grande, her raven hair and dark brown eyes made me stop and realize she's the first.
we have enjoyed having you, and we do hope y'all will come
Oh,
again.
thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thank y'all
And
so
you don't
much.
have to you can bring the camera guys to dance too, but we'd love for y'all to join
Well,
us.
Elias right here wants to dance, so next time we'll have him on the dance floor.
Oh, okay.
So, yes, ma'am.
Can I get him out there?
Yes, ma'am.
Now, which one? The one in the center?
Elias is right here. He's from Pennsylvania.
Oh, he's a Yankee.
He is a Yankee.
That's the fun kind.
Hope and pray that it's not too late, and she'll be
Shaking everyone's hand and even turning down a few hat trades, Beau led us to the final song in our bow to the night.
Rio Grande. Her raven hair and dark brown eyes makes me stop and realize she's the first true.
With a good night's sleep, we agreed to meet Beau at the local coffee shop to learn more about his career.
Last night was good.
Thank you for coming, man.
That was a lot of fun.
We had so much fun.
Yeah, I hope I didn't scare them off,
The
though.
band's already called me this morning. They had so much fun.
Don't bring Lee to Cody back. Is that what they're saying?
They loved it.
We want to know more about you and your bands, Beau and the Bandits.
Beau and the Bandits in Tyler, Texas. We were
Yes, sir.
there. We were there 20 years. I was a morning disc jockey on. It's not called the call letters because they're not there anymore, but it was KROZ. It
Yes.
stood for K Rose, and Rose
Texas,
capital of
Rose
the world.
yeah, Tyler Roses.
That's right, Tyler Roses.
That's
That's
right.
right. Yeah, and so we formed a band there called Beau and the Bandits, and we played a lot of places. The old Sawmill Club, which is no longer there.
Yes, sir.
Tropicana,
Yes, sir.
and yeah, we played a lot around there. I got picked up by a manager from Austin, Texas.
Now, when you were in Tyler, did you perform at the Louisiana Hayride while you lived in
Yes.
Tyler?
Yes.
Okay.
I did as a single.
Yes, sir.
You know, I didn't take the band with me, but I was performing on the Louisiana Hayride 17 times.
Yes, wow.
The
that's
old
great.
one
Yes, sir.
and also the new one. That was a good place. That was a good place to hone my skills and different things on stage and everything.
You had some number one hits and
Right.
a lot of different cuts by different artists.
Yeah.
Were any of them while you were in Tyler?
I wrote a lot of songs back then. We did them all ourselves. You know, they'd send them overseas to Japan. I had a number one song in Japan. I had a number one song in Germany. Europe was big for an independent artist. I was an independent artist of the year. One year, I remember that. Well, I had a bunch of different things. I was recording at that time with Stardust Records out of Nashville.
Yes, sir.
And but we were still considered independent.
Right.
And nowadays everybody's independent. No record labels hardly left.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
After a few too many cups of coffee, we followed Beau back to his favorite music store.
And to meet his friend, who is known to play a mean harmonica.
Come on in, guys.
Hey, Beau.
Hey,
How's it going? Guys, this is my good buddy right here. This is Alvis Arnold. Hi, good to meet you.
So nice to meet
Good to
you.
meet you.
Good to meet you.
Good to meet you.
So we asked him to play something.
The day I started loving you again. I'm right back where I really always
As Beau
been.
serenades us with one of the great songs by the late Merle Haggard, I couldn't help but gaze around at artifacts that were tucked in this small town music store. I quickly realized why he loves this place so much.
Then today I started loving you again.
Yes, sir.
Well, Beau, tell us a little bit about the Clear Country Band.
Clear Country Band. It
you
started in Tucson, Arizona. We recorded some demos from different songs I wrote. And then all of a sudden, 7 years later,
We had been pinned as the #1 country dance band, and
That's great.
so that's how we got started. And the band's still going, by the way, in Tucson. I'd give a little plug for them. Tucson's where it all happened to me, really.
Yes, sir.
It started with different records. I signed with Stardust Records out of Nashville. We had a few hits. I had the Billboard charts pick hit of the week, and it went up to about 50 on the charts at that time.
Beau sings us one of his hits, God's Amazing Grace. And while playing, Lee and I can see why it is important to leave behind the preservation of traditional country music. We skirt around the lake and head back to the campground where we had invited Beau for one last visit.
Well, thanks for joining us out here. Where
Nice.
we're set up camping. It's a beautiful lake. We're enjoying our time here.
Oh, it's nice, isn't it? Nice. I like this.
Gorgeous. Yeah. So you're semi-retired.
Right.
What does that look like?
I wanted to retire from the Clear Country Band and come back to Arkansas, where I was born there, and so came back. We've been here for a while now, so we're liking it. We really are.
So what do you do with your free time?
Well, I try not to have too much, really. I started driving a school bus.
Really?
Yeah, a lot of people, I tell people that, and they say, man, I couldn't stand that. Kids, I love kids.
Now, is it just like the regular school bus, like
well,
taking them to school,
yeah,
or is it?
I did, but see, I started out doing special needs, and I loved it. I loved it. A lot of special needs children in school, and I love taking care of them. And man, me and my wife both. Brenda really got into that. I mean, she loved it too,
You and Brenda, how long have you guys been married?
48 years.
48 years. Wow.
That was back before I got into the guitar and got on the front line, so to speak. I was in playing the drums in the back, and she walks in. I looked out and seen this beautiful redhead there, and I said, I got to meet her. And one of the guys says that'll never happen. And so I said, yeah, this'll happen, all right. I'm going to go over there, and they had coffee on the table, and I said, give me some sugar, and so she did, right on the cheek,
Oh.
right there.
She
And I
kissed
said,
you.
That's it.
She
That's
kissed
it.
you.
Yeah,
Oh.
yeah. So that's kind of how we
How about
got
that?
together, and so 48 years later.
Well, I want to ask you a question. You've been married 48 years,
Right.
had a very successful career. What advice would you give a young country music singer starting out who is thinking about marriage?
I would say that anybody, not just an entertainer or a musician starting out, anybody. We always say this is you're married forever, and no matter what. No matter what, it's probably the biggest thing you can do. No matter what, you stay with them, and you work it out.
No matter what, the advice from a man who's been married nearly 50 years, a man that has traveled this country entertaining people, and a man that has seen the ins and out of country music. Our time with Beau Renfro has been incredible and extremely educational for somebody who is preserving traditional country music.
It is people like Beau who are not only leaving a personal legacy, but a legacy that will benefit us all.
We want to thank the people of Heber Springs for making us feel welcome and part of their community. We also want to thank the newlyweds of 6 years for leading us around the dance floor, Earl and Betty.
We all have something we are passionate about. Our question is, are you leaving it for others? And what do you want to be known for?
And remember, your legacy comes from your story. How are you writing it?
And until our next adventure, thank you for joining us on Legacies with Lee and Alicia.